Hello everyone, welcome back. And here, if you're new, I'm in my couch. I thought that if this video is going to make me feel uncomfortable, I'm going to make myself as comfortable as I can. I'm just gonna go straight to the point. Well, disclaimers, because there's no weight loss video without having to say that I'm not saying that you need to lose weight. I'm going to share my story because I was a bit overweight and I needed to lose weight for my health, so I did. I'm not telling you that you have to lose a certain way. If you want to do it, do it. Okay, to the video. This is the second time that I've tried to film this video. I filmed it like a month ago and it got real dark real fast. So after I watched the footage, I decided that I was not going to post it because it is nice to share my story because some of you guys may relate to it, but I thought that people that looks for this kind of video wants motivation and inspiration and they're not looking for a background story, if you know what I mean. Still gonna share my story because I'm going to share what worked for me and all the process with that, but I didn't want the sad dark part to be the main focus of this. Ever since I did my Victoria's Secret model video, I mentioned briefly that I had lost 25 kilograms in the past, that if you wanted me to make a video about it, you let me know, and you guys let me know that you wanted me to share it, so I'm gonna do it. Again, this is not gonna be like your typical tips and tricks to lose weight because I feel like there's a bunch of those. I'm going to share my story, the real thing, what worked for me. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I'm going to tell you things that you don't want to hear probably, but it's the truth, and if you are committed to this, you can do it. I know you can. So let's start. Now, the first tip that I would give you, and is not so much of a tip but a reality, and if you get something from this video, I would love for it to be this. So you have decided to take control of your situation and you have decided to lose weight. Now, the first thing that I suggest you to do is to be real honest and ask yourself, why did you gain the weight in the first place? And I know you're gonna say, well, because I overate, but hear me out on this. I'm guessing that if you are watching a video on how I lost 25 kilos, is because you want to lose a big chunk of weight. It's not because you want to lose the last 10-15 pounds, because if that is your case, this is not the video for you. Or maybe it is, I don't know. But if you have put a very big amount of weight, personally, I feel like those kind of drastic changes in your body are because they come with something that's happening in your life, whether it's stress, whether it's mental health problems, depression, and so on. Of course, aside from thyroid or PCOS or any kind of health issues that you may have. I think I realized this when I started watching this TV show. I used to watch it all the time. I think it was from Channel 4. It was called Super Size versus Super Skinny. For those of you who don't know what this is, I'm going to explain to you very briefly. It is a TV show where they pair a super size person with a super skinny person. They put them in this food clinic, which is just a house, and they have to be there together for 4 days, 3-4 days, but they swap their diet so they can see how bad their eating habits really are. They have these different, my dog is driving me nuts today. They have all these different stages on the program where these 2 different tubes where they dump the food intake of 1 week, so you can see the difference. Like the super size person has a very large amount of food and the super skinny like pretty much none. All these shock value things that they do. Also the swapping diets thing, and then this one that for me was my personal favorite, and this is why I'm trying to illustrate it. They ask them to bring pictures from their childhood to the current time so they can see when the change happened and why, like what happened around them during that time. And 99%, I think I haven't seen an episode where they didn't have an issue going on with their life, whether it was a loss of a close relative or depression for a certain thing. And it was the same for the super size person and the super skinny person. It was pretty much the same. So I suggest you to be very honest and very real with yourself yourself with your situation and see what happens with you, because you don't wake up one day and start overeating just because you feel like it. We humans tend to use food as comfort and we don't even realize it, and that comfort maybe is because you're lacking something. I felt like I needed to touch base on this because it is a huge part of the journey, understanding why you got to that point so you can see what your problem is, identify it, try and work things out and move on. Because you can diet and do everything you want, but if you don't go to the root of your problem, you will probably end up going back to old habits. So for me, especially when I was looking through pictures to make this video, because I wanted to illustrate as best as I could totally see fluctuations of weight throughout my entire life, and I could see very clearly what was going on. I am a kind of person that I go to the extremes. If I'm stressed for whatever reason, I tend to overeat or not eat at all. Now, why I put on the weight? I was living with some relatives. I don't feel like calling them family. So when my mother passed away when I was 11, I moved with some relatives, and he was being in a very toxic, restrictive household with a very unhealthy relationship with food. One of the people that lived there wanted to lose weight. As a result, we would diet hardcore throughout the week, and during the weekend we had this free pass and we could eat whatever we wanted. Now looking back at it, that free pass was a very long binging session. It was all for nothing. Like, all the effort being put during the week was thrown out of the window in 2 days. It was a lot of frustration for that part, which caused a lot of negativity. It was a really stressful time. So that toxicity led me to have this connection with food. I would see it as the only thing that would satisfy me and would be enjoyable for me, because I didn't have anything else. I was feeling very lonely. I was very scared to say anything. I felt trapped. It was pretty bad. So that was a connection that I have built right there. Once I got out of that situation, when I moved out of the house the day I turned 18, I was still having that connection with food, but I would eat normally. So those things combined. I remember the first month that I was out of it, I didn't want to leave my house because I was too scared of running into those people. As a result, I started piling on pounds, and I didn't even realize that. You don't realize at all until you see a picture. So it was during that summer that I started putting on the weight, and throughout the year I started going out. I was experiencing freedom, because when I said before restrictive, it was restrictive in every single thing possible. I was 17 and I had to be home by 9:30 p.m. So I went from that to experiencing my life, going out and drinking and having late night snacks after drinking. I was having everything. I was living my life to the fullest, if you want to look at it that way. And I kind of needed that, but at that time I was like a rubber band that you stretch, and you release, and up to the sky. It was like that for a good year. I have tried in the past to do something here or there, but I didn't know how to manage my eating habits. I didn't know how to meal plan. I didn't know anything, but I was so oblivious to nutrition and calories and all those things. I had tried going to the gym, and I had tried some quick fixes and fad diets that you find online, and none of those worked because they were very extreme. I would try them for a few days, but I couldn't be consistent because that was not sustainable. Until I went up to my aunt and I told her that I wanted to lose weight, and that's when the journey started. Tip number 2. This worked wonders for me, and it is, if you can find a nutritionist, give it a go. The one that I went to, it was free. They suggested me to buy some things that they had at the store, because it was like a dieting store, but they had nutritionists. And I went in there, they measured me, stepped on the scale, and they told me, hey, you are a bit overweight. It's nothing too crazy, but so you need to lose a chunk of weight. I cannot deal with someone calling me out for doing something wrong, so I would make sure to be good that week. I would go there every week, same time, same clothes, same everything, so I could have a fair weight in. Yeah, it helped me to have someone to hold me accountable. Sometimes I was really anxious, thinking, oh my god, I didn't do that good this week, but still way better than I was doing before. And the meal plan that I got was meant for it to work. So one of the great things, whether you go to a nutritionist or you do this with someone, and sometimes I feel like we tend to hide these things because we don't trust ourselves, so no one knows if we have failed, and that's your comfort zone. If you let someone else know, maybe that's the little push that you need for things to start rolling. Maybe share with someone like a friend or a family member that wants to lose weight too. You can do this together and motivate one another. Go on the journey, share recipes, go on walk. Now, the food, which is probably one of the most interesting things that you want to know. I was on a meal plan. It was a 1500 calories meal plan, and I had 2 days during the week. They would call it the shock days. I had 1200 calories. I could balance them however I wanted. I was advised not to indulge and not to go out for meals. Then I had this chart with 3 different groups. Foods that I were pretty much free, foods that I could have here and there, and the last one, like foods that were not allowed at all, which were fast food and all those things. Now, the meal plan is within those calories, but I would suggest you to keep it simple, keep it easy. These meal plans, recently I started using it last week because I felt like I needed a reminder. You have different vegetables for many different meals. Maybe you don't like some of those meals, and if I don't like something, or if it's too difficult to prepare it, it would stop me from doing it. So finding things that I like veggies that I love and I won't get sick of, that's what I'm going to add to my meal plan. Now, next tip, or whatever you want to call it, I don't even know what number we're in. Drinks. When I started, it was summer, it was August, I was on holiday, I would go out with friends and I wasn't allowed to drink any alcohol, which sucked. To have any pop or fizzy drinks or soda, whatever you want to call it, an iced tea here and there, as well as other things, because when you go on these kind of meal plans, sometimes you're hungry and you want to eat but you can't, and sometimes you don't feel like eating and you have to eat because you have to let your body reset and start creating healthy habits. And when it comes to drinking while dieting, alcohol, no, it sucked. But at the same time, I was so proud of myself because I didn't know. I remember one time I surrendered and I was like, "Cricket, I'm gonna have a drink." It was a pretty hectic night out, but I had just once in a month, so it wasn't that bad. Now, the thing with alcohol is that the amount of calories that you are consuming just drinking, and you take those calories and translate it into food, you realize it's not worth it, especially if you have cravings. You can either have 2 cocktails or pizza or something. Yeah, it sucked, but I was so proud that I did it. And I would go out and friends would be drinking and I was with my bottle of water and I was thriving and living not my best life, but living a life that I was proud of. It also felt so good when I had lost that amount of weight and I went shopping for the first time. How good it feels when you look at your clothes and you see wow, I did that. And I am so bummed that I didn't keep any pair of jeans or anything so I could see the difference. I did have some jeans that I kept for a very long time, and I remember when I had lost 20 kilos, I put them on and they were so huge compared to the size I was, and it felt amazing. The thing with alcohol is that sometimes you go a night out and you don't eat anything and you feel all slender all of a sudden. It's because you're dehydrated. The moment you start drinking water, all the dehydration is going to be restored, and apparently when you drink it without food, it's not gonna make you gain weight as it is, but it's going to prevent you from losing fat the next, I think it was 2-3 days. Even though you drink one day and you start behaving like you should the day after, you need 3 more days to get it out of your system and eventually continue with the progress. So it's not worth it if you do it once a month or something, but if you do it every single weekend, keep it in mind. Now, September came. During that month, I was doing my check-ins and I would lose around a kilo and a half every week, and another 5 kilos shed. Now, the thing is, I moved out and I was living with flatmate. One of the main reasons why I was successful is because I was with the nutritionist, and also because I had my aunt, who is the best ever. She is the best and she has helped me so much, and she would help me plan my meals, and she would most of the time cook for me, even though I would tell her you don't have to do this, because she would prepare food for the rest of the family, and she would go out of her way to prepare that for me. Like, she was super sweet, and she was like, oh, I don't mind, it's fine, I'm glad I can do this for you. I should have been able to all these years. That in a way kind of enabled me, and that's what I was telling you at the beginning, that you need to know what's going on and put your mind in it. Now, once I was on my own, I kept losing weight, but it was slower because I would again go out and drink and all those things, which wasn't bad because I had already lost a pretty good amount of weight, but still had at that point halfway to go. So when I went to live on my own with some flatmates, I started like going out and drinking and eating whatever, because it was all a bit chaotic at that point. I hadn't worked out my issues, and I got into this massive depression that hit me so hard. I would fluctuate a lot. I had periods of time where I wasn't able to eat. I would try to eat whatever, and I had to go to the bathroom and throw up because I couldn't, because I was so stressed. Some of the times I would overeat, like to make up for being missing meals of the day. That really slowed down my progress. That was throughout the next 2 years until my contract was done and I moved back with my aunt, and I told her again, like, I want to do this again because it worked for me pretty well. Now I was so done with it because I wanted to get my life back together. So I look back and I see pictures and it was just not carrying at all. When I look at it, I look at my skin, my hair, like the way I looked, and it's not only because of the weight, because you can be heavier and look absolutely beautiful, but it wasn't the case for me. And also if you are not into like getting your hair done and putting on makeup or skincare or any of those things, it's fine, but I know who I am as a person and I do like those things and I enjoy them. And I look back at those pictures and it's so sad because I was so disappointed because I neglected myself that way. Yeah, it was all because I had issues that wouldn't let me move forward. Finished those 2 years losing 5 more kilos because I would fluctuate a lot, and it was because I wasn't doing it and I was not in the mindset. So I put my work on that and I started losing weight again. I looked for my old meal plans, I took the dust out of them and I started using them again. I didn't need to go to a nutritionist because I had already learned how to use them and I was ready to do it again, to move on from that. I managed to lose 5 more kilos. At this time it was slower because it's not the same when you have a bunch of weight to lose that when you have less amount of weight. It goes slower. Now the last 5 kilos, I didn't lose them because I was following the meal plan. There's a downside to Weightloss Journey, and that's why I cannot stress enough the first point, because I feel like it can be applied to every situation, whether you are overweight or underweight, and is that things start to change and people around you, and I could make a whole different video about this, how people treat you differently when you start losing weight. And I could see a difference, like people that wouldn't even give me the time of day started to approach me, and that attention can help you, but don't get lost in it because it can lead you to bad behaviors, and that's another video. I feel like I've gone to both sides of the spectrum. It wasn't until years later, like 5 years ago, that I started working out. I started to really have a good relationship with food and my body. And what I'm trying to tell you with this is, do this because you want to do it and because you feel like you need to be healthy, not because you want to be attractive for someone or because you have to fit some stupid standards that are not real, because nowadays like Photoshop and Facetune and all those things is not real. What matters is you and you being happy with yourself. But yeah, when I started working out, everything changed. I wish I would have started working out before. I didn't feel like going to the gym. I was so self-conscious. I tried at first, but I couldn't keep on going. I would find whatever excuse to not go, because I didn't feel comfortable there. Well, 5 years ago I had lost all the weight and I started going to the gym. I still don't like to go to the gym, like for example in the afternoon when there's a bunch of guys looking at the mirror and trying to approach you and all those things. I like to go to the gym in the mornings. There's just a bunch of old ladies that go to Pilates and I like to talk to them and we laugh or we're friends. Yeah, I found my spot and I enjoy going there. For me, it's a nice environment. Working out now is something that I love and I need for my mental health. I feel so stress relieved after my workouts, and I feel like I need it. Like the days I don't work out, I feel like I'm missing something and I feel terribly bad. If you have a meal plan with a certain amount of calories, if you're not looking for building muscle or a certain build and you just want to lose weight, at the end of the day is calories in versus calories out. So if you go to the gym and burn more calories, you can eat more. So that's a plus. Still within your calorie intake. Steps, going for walks, little things that I would do. If I had to go to class, instead of taking a bus, I would walk. I would try to walk everywhere, and so I did, and I still do. Have my, it's not a Fitbit, it's a Mi band. I challenged myself to take 10,000 steps every day, and that's what works for me. Now I have this meal plan, and whenever I was going out, sometimes I didn't want to feel like I was missing out. Because I had the meal plan, I always knew what I had to eat at that certain time. I would look in the menu if they had something similar. If not, I did have my go-to meals that I knew they had everywhere. Those were typical things that I know are low calorie but everyone loves. I still enjoyed and I could share. So with that, I wouldn't feel like an outcast. You know, when I started doing that, I felt way better than everyone eating whatever they wanted and I was just having a sad salad or something. But yeah, think outside of the box. Think of recipes that you can have that are low calorie. People tend to think that going out to eat equals fast food or eating bad, but I'm pretty sure that there's a bunch of dishes that you enjoy eating. It's all that barrier of ordering, because when you see the menu and you read all the dishes that you would love to eat and then you think of the healthier options, you think like, oh, I really don't want to order this. But when it arrives and you're eating it and it tastes good and you feel satisfied, it's even better because you're sharing a nice meal with your friends or family and you are enjoying yourself. So yeah, that's great. Something that really helped me and really motivated me was to get new clothes, like reward myself with new clothes. Because some people say, oh, I've done it so well, I've lost this much weight, I'm going to have a piece of cake, or today I'm going to indulge and have a cheat meal or something. You can do that. But for me, it was way better to go to the mall and get new clothes and see how everything fit me, and I would feel myself so much, and it was so nice to see how I was improving and how my body was changing and how I was feeling way better. You start feeling like yourself. I know this has been too long, but I felt like I needed to explain as much as I could how it's been for me, because again, I feel like it's very important to know where your issues are coming from and why you have this connection with food and why you have this change to your body, so you can fix it. And with all these things, I've learned to balance and know that if one day I'm a bit bad, I compensate, and the next day I'm extra good, and I try to keep balance with it. And yeah, I kind of fluctuate, but it's nothing crazy, like 1 kilo up, 1 kilo down. Okay, now I'm getting back in shape because it was a very long Christmas full of indulging and drinking and all those things, because that's life and you have to enjoy it as it comes. And take it from me, it took me like 4 years of a very long journey to come to this point. As some of you guys may know, I am getting married next year and I will start looking for a dress very soon. So I was thinking, because I'm fine with the way I look right now, but I always wanted to look a certain way at least once in my life. So I have decided to try and get in shape and try and be like extra fit for a while. So yeah, I took the meal plans again and I'm using them, and it's working wonders because I kind of plateau for a bit, and I started calorie counting as it is, like eating whatever I wanted. But I have realized that, for example, for me, refined carb, even though I'm under my calories, it makes me retain liquids like crazy, and I wouldn't gain, but I wouldn't lose either. So I am using my meal plans again. I see they are working, and I thought that maybe I could share some what I eat in the day videos so you guys can see how the meals are, how it works for the day. And I don't know, also I'm doing this Chloe teen challenge, and there's a video coming up very soon about how to obtain abs in 2 weeks, as crazy as it sounds. But if you are a Chloe teen fan and you are interested in the real results, videos coming up soon. That was a lot, and I feel like this video is all over the place. And if you have any questions or suggestions or anything, as I always say, you have the comment section below. If you want to talk to me about anything, you have any doubts, you want to share your story with me, you can DM me on Instagram at lalafemmme. I'll put it around here so you guys can go there and talk to me. I absolutely love when you guys talk to me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope this time it was helpful, and I'll see you guys in my next video.